Thank you, Mayor Merrifield, and also thank you to Fred Tausch, Mike Dennehy, Jeff Raponi, and the rest of the Steward team. And also thank you, my fellow patriots, for being here today. I'm Jim Bender. I'd like to introduce my wife, Susan Bender. Sue, would you stand up? Ladies and gentlemen, there can be no doubt that the number one problem that America and New Hampshire faces is excessive federal spending, deficits, and debt. Everything else, by comparison, is a sideshow. We live in a dangerous time. We have self-assured incompetence running our country. They're incapable of self-doubt or introspective analysis. They think they're creating jobs while they're destroying jobs by the millions. Since Inauguration Day, we've now lost 3.5 million jobs. They think they're saving us while putting us on a path to destruction economically. For the past 12 weeks, I have been visiting a number of Republican gatherings and also gatherings on factory floors and universities. And on these universities and factory floors, we have run into people who are favoring the Democrats, or have at least until we've gone in and explained some of the issues to them. In many cases, we've talked to audiences that have gone Democrat by 8-1. But we've gone in with an effort to educate, because what the problems that our country is facing apply to all of us, not just Republicans. And this is going to be a challenge for me, because this presentation I've never given in less than 20 minutes, but I've got 5. So let me see if I can get on with it. I'm going to touch some of the tops, but I have a YouTube site, which many of you have my business card with the YouTube site on it. And what I'm going to do is ask, there are about 6-7 videos on the YouTube site at a time. Many times we're talking about economic issues, so you'll be able to, if I skip over something, you'll be able to get more detail there. There's no question that our government spends too much, it wastes too much, it taxes too much, and it borrows too much. We need to get this under control. Our government seems to want to find new things to do all the time. They want to invest and take over the automotive industry. They want to take over the insurance industry. They want to take over the banking industry. Now they want to take over the medical insurance industry. But if you look at the track record on how well they've done with the 20th century initiatives, Medicare, Medicaid, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or Social Security, every one of those agencies is insolvent. One of the things that we've explained to our audiences is not only the terms, because a lot of people don't know the difference between debt, a deficit, GNP, GDP, and it's kind of embarrassing at a certain age if you don't. So we take the time to just go through and explain it all, and we also talk about why it matters. And some of the reasons that it matters to America, that we are having record deficits, as you can see from this chart here, and record debt, as you can see from that chart over there, is that we're doing a lot of things that are long-term destructive to our country and to our economy. First of all, we're debasing our currency. In less than 10 years, the dollar has lost 45% of its value against the euro, and almost as much against the Chinese yuan, the Japanese yen, the Swiss franc, and a number of other currencies. The other reason that it matters and why this is destructive for America is that a free-falling dollar makes it impossible to borrow at low rates in the future. And the reason for that is, think about it. The government wants to issue another $9 trillion worth of debt over the next 10 years, and that's if everything goes just right, on top of the $12 trillion they're already borrowing. Would you lend money at low interest rates if you were going to be paid back at 55 cents on the dollar? No, of course you wouldn't. But the other problem that we have is that we have such massive debt, and because so much of it is owned by foreign sovereign nations, we've effectively put our oxygen supply in the hands of our creditors. And the United States needs the cooperation of many other countries in order to accomplish some of the things that we have to in the world. There are hot spots everywhere that require the unique leadership of America, and we have a unique responsibility in the world. We have nuclear proliferation in countries like North Korea as well as Iran. We have wars right now in Afghanistan, where our fully burdened cost of fuel for military vehicles is $400 per gallon. We have a war in Iraq. We have an ongoing multi-decade conflict in the Middle East with Israel's neighbors. We have an ongoing multi-decade problem in Pakistan and India, where there's nuclear weapons involved. And we have friction between China and Taiwan. If we were to take our eyes off that ball for 1 month, Taiwan might be gone. We cannot afford to put our destiny in the hands of our foreign creditors. The other thing that we've explained to some of our audiences is the history of loose fiscal policy and massive debt. And we look at how loose fiscal policy and debt have contributed or caused the decline or the demise of many of the great democratic republics throughout history, from the Athenian Republic to the British Empire. So we really have no choice except to take corrective action. If we don't take corrective action, the consequences are going to be dire. What we need to do is reduce federal spending. Our spending is now 4 times what it was in 1980 when Ronald Reagan was first elected president. And this is while doing essentially the same tasks that our government did in 1980. We also need to stop hindering capitalism. Capitalism is the engine that's driven American growth. We need to eliminate if we want to get our economy back on track, we've got to understand that jobs are created by private industry, they are not created by the government. There simply isn't room. There simply isn't room in the lifeboat for us all to be federal employees. We have to focus on saving the ship. The second thing we need to do is understand what allows businesses to hire. We've got to eliminate card check, we've got to eliminate cap and trade, and we've got to eliminate this healthcare legislation because businesses are reluctant to hire when they can't predict what their labor costs will be, they can't predict what their energy costs will be, and they can't predict what their insurance costs will be. The other thing which we need to do, and I see I'm getting the hook here, is we need to reduce capital gains. In fact, we should eliminate capital gains because all of the revenue that would be lost by losing capital gains would be more than made up for by economic growth, by putting more people back to work, and by the productivity that would result from that. If I may indulge myself, I have one last thing I want to tell you. And one of the things that's been very, very rewarding to me as I've gone around the state is people are putting things in my hands and giving me the bullets and the weapons to be successful in making a presentation, and that's phenomenally gratifying to me. One gentleman a couple of nights ago, I was speaking on Veterans Day, and he put something in my hand from a philosopher, Alexander Tyler, at the University of Edinburgh in 1787. And he said there are 8 steps that every democracy takes. See if you can figure out where we are. Bondage to spiritual faith to great courage, courage to liberty, liberty to abundance, abundance to complacency, complacency to apathy, apathy to dependence, and dependence back into bondage. We have to retake control of our destiny, and we have to get our government back on track.